Hey Ratbags, Tribes of Midgard, what blessings should you pick first? So with the brand new blessing system for survival modes, there's over 90 to choose from. You can unlock up to 50, that is the maximum level in the game. So you can see I'm at level 13 now, and that means I've got 12 blessings. But which ones should you really go for? Obviously it is all about style of play, what you're more comfortable doing, and if you're playing with others. If you're definitely more of a support person, you regularly play with others, then certain blessings are always going to be better. But I still think it's worth pointing out some of my favourites. So early on, you get to decide what weapon you're going to gel with most. I wouldn't necessarily spend a blessing point on one of these until you have had experience with all of them. It's pretty obvious, but spend some time playing with axes, the bow, the hammer and the spear, and of course the sword. Eventually I did go for the sword. Likewise, you could argue you could do the same with elemental damage, get 20% extra by choosing one of these. But there are so many ways that you can do more damage against certain giants. You can craft the elemental arrows and you get a whole bunch of weapons with it damage on it. These are definitely saved for later when you really are going to be farming the giants purely for horns. In the first 25 days, I really don't think you need to bother. But if you do want to get a little bit of an extra hand, I would either go for the Thunder Embrace because that will help you do more damage against hell things. Or if you're just about to take on Jan Saxa and she's pretty tough, then go for Dark Embrace, as that will do a ton more damage against her. After that, the order of the giants is that you face on Hologi, so it might be worth getting the Cold Embrace, and then facing off against Jorador, which would be the Fire Embrace. But as said, I don't think it's really necessary until much later when you start farming the giants and you want to get more horns. Obviously it does take a few days for the giants to respawn, but yeah, that's when I would really focus on getting them. One I kinda almost regret getting is this one. Because souls are pretty much only used to buy stuff from traders and to repair your tools and weapons, it's more of an inconvenience that your tool or your item will break in your hand. You generally got enough souls left over unless you've been absolutely buying everything you can from a trader. The amount of times I've had loads of souls and not really understood what I should be spending them on because I haven't found more of the advanced traders. Because don't forget they're all over scattered around the world. So I would actually not bother with this and save yourself another blessing. Likewise, the same thing goes for the weapon durability, armour and shields. The exception to that will be once you get legendary gear, as you want to keep that going as long as possible as it does start costing more and more souls to repair. At that point, some of the stuff is really expensive in terms of repairing with souls, so that might be when you want to sink something into one of these. I always play these games like I need to get as much resources as I can in the early game, so that's why I started going for this one. Double the amount of ingredients from harvesting. This can be an absolute game changer if you play in solo. In multiplayer it doesn't need it as much, but certainly in single player mode it really will help a lot. To get to it though, you are going to have to spend 2 more blessing points on these. But again, these are all really great for solo players. Deploying a decoy when rolling really will help you out when facing off against multiple enemies or even some of the bigger ones. And this one's more of just a little bonus, reducing activation time, activating shrines and treasure chests with your Death Touch. I wouldn't go anywhere further along this line, not unless you really did like the decoy, as it pretty much just gives variations or more damage attack. Next up, I'd actually go down to way to the bottom and get Acquired, 25% chance to recover meal consumed. That's okay, it's a little bonus for sure, but really it's about getting the 6 rune slot. You're able to hold over 30 runes, but of course you can still only equip 5. So any chance of getting an extra one. As you can see, level 13, day 22, 23, and these are all the runes that I've got so far. So absolutely plenty of reasons to have an extra slot. After that, I really spent a lot of my points on this particular run. As a solo player, I really like having lots of tanky health. So while preventing knockback effects isn't amazing, but it's still useful, it's increasing your total HP by 20% with Ironclad 1. Past Judgment is okay, getting extra mana when sustaining a hit. It's definitely more suitable for people going in there with big two-handed weapons and not necessarily using shields. But this is it as well, 40% extra total HP. And especially for solo play, dropping to 1 HP instead of dying can really make the difference in you pressing the up button quickly to get that extra healing, or teleporting away. So after that, we're definitely in the realms of where or how you play. If you're a bow or arch person, obviously you want to get as many of these ones as possible. Charge shot, piercing arrows, deep quiver, ricochet and quick shot. If you're more of a tank but you're blocking and helping support others with your shield, then these ones give you all sorts of bonuses. One I would like to get, and I'll probably concentrate on next, is Iron Seedling. This gives you a 10% chance to deploy a seedling, effectively giving you some extra health while you're in a fight. But it's the next one that I'm really after, Weaken Endue. In enemies with combo attacks, reduce both their armor and damage. Successive hits amplify this effect even further, and you can see it's up to 10% extra damage or weakening them by, if you get enough combos in. If you're really a more support class and you're forever picking your friends up, then you want to make sure you get this one. Reducing the revival time of your allies, reviving your allies interrupted, and casting a healing pool when reviving allies. But, it has to be said, you can get a bunch of runes that do that same job. So it might not necessarily be worth dumping some of your points into that. After that, it's really about just bonus stuff. I would love to have extra passive regeneration, maybe getting this up to 6%, and of course you'll have even more damage against stunned enemies along the way. And I probably would like to increase the max stack on potions by 1. Holding 4 potions instead of 3 doesn't seem that much a bigger deal, but really can help out. Just remember, you won't be able to make your own potions till much later, so you will have to buy a lot more if you're going to be utilising that extra bonus item from traders when you buy potions from them. If you're more of a berserker class, then you want to be going down this path, Ferelda's Wrath. So there's a huge amount of blast damage and stuff when defeating enemies, especially when you're building up your Wrath. You can become a real fighting machine, especially when you start gaining HP when hitting them with this one. And again, a lot of these do have runes. So if you kind of have started to build out a build and then starting to realise that actually you're running out of some of this stuff, you can always supplement your blessings with some of them runes. I would avoid anything like movement speed. In the early stages, you do want to kind of just be sticking close to the healing tree. There's no real need to be moving quicker or be able to see around the map more. The exception to that is when you do have to go and find another giant dwelling on another island. It would be a bit more useful to see more of the map. But honestly, I think you'll be okay if you're building a little bridge or you've obviously got your boat. And of course, if you're doing them in order, it always shows you where the next giant is going to be. And that's it. You obviously can't get any chance to buy blessings, so you are going to have to just earn them. You do get a huge amount of XP for defeating the Jotun, and of course any elites. So if you really want to build up your blessings quickly, then you might want to start farming the giants as soon as possible, which does make some of these come out in more usefulness. Agree, disagree, let me know your top 5 blessings and what they do. Just remember though, like I said, you can get a whole bunch of runes that will supplement some of them to keep on making a build something certain. And especially for solo play, I really do think it's about being able to get as much resource as possible, having as much health and a chance to revive yourself or stop yourself from being downed. Slightly disappointed there's not as many blessings that help with temperature and stuff. There's definitely some seemingly missing from the class builds that you get in the saga mode. I'm kind of hoping the devs do add some sort of idea of what kind of blessings lend themselves towards a particular class, as I think that'll help players as well, rather than just having to watch this video or go through literally 90 of them. But there we go and check out the rest of my guides, and I'll see you ratbags later.